Welcome to today's intuitive channeling and general reading. The vibes are incredible to me. The excitement that I was feeling into the last time I offered an intuitive channeling has grown in size or expanded in volume, like the choir is singing louder, or there's more layers to the orchestra that are coming. You know how a song builds up, those songs that build up instrument by instrument. Feels like this is a song that is building up instrument by instrument, and it's really beautiful. And for the large part, I think is very internal. So again, please be patient with your process. Please be patient with yourself. There has been no better time, in my opinion, and honestly in all of history, in my opinion, to activate some kind of sense of divine knowing, surrender. Excuse me. To lean on your spiritual senses. I don't think there's ever been a more fertile, alive, fun opportunity to do that. I had a whole bunch of things that I'd wanted to touch on, and it always comes scrambled and almost all at once as soon as I press the record or stream button. So I'm still trying to grapple with whether or not my throat is also making me so uncomfortable right now. I'm trying to grapple with whether or not to or how necessary it is to focus on one lens, either collective or individual. I tend to do the collective thing a lot, which I honestly feel I'm pretty fair at. But I've been wanting to challenge myself lately to get into particular specifics of people who tune into my work. So I'm trying to do that in this moment. Collectively, I was feeling and have been seeing rather and experiencing myself in my living experience, the importance of cleaning and doing the whole spring cleaning thing for your home and how that can affect you energetically, spiritually. This definitely feels like one of those years where you can say goodbye to it by doing a major clean. And I would also highly recommend that the cleaning happens with your hands. Hey, you cannot ask a question. Sorry, this is not one of those readings. Please reach out to me personally. Doing the act of cleaning or any labor really with as much of your energy intertwined with the activity as possible. So when you, this seems a bit regressive when I say it, but it's the energetic value of it is what I'm trying to bring across. Vacuuming or allowing one of those automatic vacuums that go now to clean your home versus you actively sweeping. That sweeping makes a spiritual difference to the way that you connect to everything about what you're doing. You're cleaning your room, the way you connect to your room, the way you connect to your home, the way you connect to the active cleaning. It's all very the intertwining of the various worlds that have always existed is happening even more intensely. The thinning of the veil. I also wanted to suggest the act of spiritually protecting your home. I've said this often, but it feels like it just becomes more and more important. And if at this point you're not doing anything, any kind of protection spell or prayer or something along those lines, then please start doing it. ASAP, please start going about as urgently as possible, protecting yourself, your family, your home, your loved ones, your community, as often as possible. That can also reflect in like thinking loving thoughts about the people you love, about your home or whatever. That love is a form of protection, although I would recommend the verbalization of, I pray that my home is protected, my family is protected, da da da, you know? As always, take the spiritual work incredibly seriously. The Aries transits that are coming up, that are going to be a major part, I think, of the fire of next year. I think Aries as an archetype can be underestimated for their spirituality, firstly. I believe that their connection with the moment is incredibly spiritual, and their impulsiveness and their quickness, I think it's a very spiritual, deeply energetic thing. The Aries archetype is really going to usher in the quickness of things for next year. So don't underestimate that movement and the quickness of it. Don't allow that, all of it, to invalidate the spiritual potency that is like opening up for us, you know? They're coming in bit by bit, and I don't want to rush it. I was so excited coming into this live. I had it all like lined up while I was doing like house chores. Should have written it down. Thank you for being patient with me. For all of those watching the playback, thank you. It just feels, the excitement is completely, it's so overarching and so potent on its own that it I'm feeling into or envisioning or understanding a form of like chaos coming up that I've been saying that is going to be so fast paced that it's actually generally, I think, going to be very difficult to like predict. This may be the oncoming of like the dissipation, is that the word, of like the tarot world and the divination world. Or it could be the increase of it, I don't know. But the point is that like, I've explained this before in previous readings. Sorry, everyone. There's so much happening in my brain. The dynamicism of the current times and the thinness of the veil, to me, invites the main idea that we really are kind of staring at infinite potential and infinite predestinies all the time. And each choice we make locks us into a specific predestiny, right? The infinity of that and the potential of that and the amount of choices we can make, the amount of doors that we can open is becoming more and more obvious. The infinity of it is becoming more and more obvious. That is what's unavoidable. That is part of our awakening process. That is part of awakening to our sovereignty and coming into our freedom. Whereas they used to be like really fogged up. There used to be smoke around the doors that we could choose. Darkness, shadows, depression, doubts, disbelief of, a greater power, whatever. That fog is clearing up. The sheer amount of options we have, I think, is the root of the chaos and the dynamicism we are walking into. Where there are just so many options all the time, it's going to be really difficult to be able to predict or divine into what may come. Or into what you will choose. Because I think also the conviction, our senses, our personal senses of conviction, and I've mentioned this in previous readings, our attachment to our identity, it's going to affect the way that we make decisions. And it's obviously then going to affect the way the matrix is shaped, because we're making decisions differently. And this matrix that we're in is literally in the shape of our decisions and opinions. Our inventions are our decisions and opinions. You know what I mean? Yeah, the scope of possibilities increasing so much that it insists more and more. All of this is insisting on awareness of the present moment and trying on your own, in your own world and in your own experience, to be so present that you are effectively connected, so connected to the divine that you can just divine for yourself. You know, you don't even need tarot. You're just in the moment. So instead of the active divination, tarot, consultations, all of that, where you're seeking and you're trying to like reach out for the information, because you're always in the moment, that information is going to arrive to you as and when, all the time, because you're always in the moment and you're always open and ready to receive. We are being forcefully opened, very much the contraction process of birth. A random insert, if you are a mother, and added, if you are somebody who has like given birth to your child, added naturally, you know, with as least interference from outside of your family incubation as possible. I hope that makes sense. Then that experience gave you a level of wisdom that is going to be very useful for other people. If you are in grief, or if you have grieved, or if you know very deep rooted grief that makes you want to cry hollowly, you know, if you know how to be sad from that place, if you know sadness from that place, again, wisdom that is going to be so useful in the coming times, that I also highly recommend you share on. So please tap into your creator, your inner creator, and make shit, write shit, make a YouTube channel, create a TikTok account, fucking whatever, man, whatever that will give you the ability to take whatever's in and put it out. Do that ASAP. Next year, I think will be, it's funny that I say this because I've actually been spending, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. Okay, I'm glad that arrived. I've spent the last few years in such an intense kind of stillness that I feel maybe I've reached a point of over-identifying with stillness. Next year, it's giving anti-stillness in the sense that because of how many doors are open, how many potentials there are, how much our sense of freedom is going to expand, it just actually energetically doesn't make any sense for you to keep still. Referencing the thing I mentioned earlier, I also feel, and this is also largely because I experienced it, and also I've had a lot of conversations over the years with people who identify with this sensation of experiencing these last few years, more particularly since 2019, as very heavily traumatic, where like nodes of extremely traumatic or very emotionally rattling experiences happened, spread over these 5 years, that I believe right now, during this time I'm recording this, December 2025, is being tended to by our gods. There is, more specifically, various crazy emotional shit, crazy stuff that happened over these past few years that maybe you haven't acknowledged, that you haven't fully sat with, or maybe when it happened, it happened at a point of our collective evolution where we were all telling each other, you know what, we can't let the low shit get us down. We have to keep moving. Life is going to leave you behind. There was a time, I mean, it's happening right now, but there was a moment when this started collectively, and we were all posting about it and having conversations about it, about how like shit is going down, life is going crazy, and no one's going to save. If we keep feeling sorry for ourselves, we're not going to get out of it. We have to just keep going. Something about that frequency acted as like a blockage for our ability to process the pain. And I'm feeling that something about this year brought all of that pain up full force, even if it just came up bubbling inside of you internally, and you didn't even realize that it would still be so painful. The death of my son's father happened and passed. I processed it. It was deeply painful. This year, 2025, it came bubbling up all again, as if it was happening again for the first time. And it came fully from within me, fully. I've experienced his death anniversary, and I've never felt the way that I felt on this death anniversary, where I was just so overcome with that sadness and that depression and the grief of it all. And it took a very long time to clear. But effectively it was just me sitting with it and understanding how much that changed me, how painful it was. Accepting the pain of that was the clearance of it. So that it's not really clear. It's still deeply embedded in me, the pain of that and the grief of that. But the opportunity to alchemize, as I've been saying, has been offered to us by the universe. I've taken it, I've eaten it, chowed it up. I'm loving the taste, loving the vibe. It's also part of the excitement. We're healing. We're actually healing though. Like, we're not just performing or saying words of someone who's healed. We're actually doing it within our heart space, our emotional space is healing. And in that healing is that impossible feat that we've all been doubting, of a consistent feeling of contentment with life, you know, a sense of bliss and connection with all that is. It's always been possible. It's always been so easy as well, is what I'm feeling into. But I know my living experience, that is not what it's been reflecting. But yeah, that's also been a theme a lot today alone, in the songs I've been hearing and in the way I've been processing this energy, that this joy, this sense of joy and peace and bliss and whatever that we seek, that we think we can get through our material dreams achieved, or our dream job, or our dream luxuries, or dream relationship, it's always there. It's genuinely always there. That's it. More of realizing that, accepting that. Put that into your affirmation box and repeat it over and over again, that it's there. It's always there for you. Repeat it against your inner doubt that it's not there. Because that's also what we're tending to. I'm pretty sure I read for people who understand the kind of detachment from life that makes you confused about why you're even, that makes you confused about, and I'm trying to get specific about this, instead of just blurting out your suicidal ideations, I'm trying to get specific about what happens with our energy when we are in those states, because yeah, I think that's important. A detachment from life that makes you feel confused about why you're alive, but more like it's genuinely a separation from all you see, and a lack of understanding of your integration in that. We are always integrated into all of life. We are such a centered part of life, of our lives, yes, of course, but of life in general. There's so much energy that went into bringing you into existence. And it's very important that you affirm, you remember that, repeat that, make it a thing. Even if you don't understand it, make it a thing. Just keep saying it and saying it. And one day, I swear to G, you are going to, you're going to just, you're going to have this just sense of, whoa, I really am connected to all of life. And you're going to have it sober. Yes, you will. You won't have to take a single drug or take a single drink. You'll be in your completely peaceful, sober state. You might even get it before bed or just as you wake up in the morning or while you're making breakfast. I had the sense of that about like a year or two ago while I was doing yoga at my friend's house. I just felt overcome with this, with the feeling of divine connection with God and with all of life. And I had a realized sense of how loved I am. I should actually post it. I took a video of it. It was crazy. But also, funnily enough, every time I tried to share that video, and I definitely have, every time I've tried, my phone crashes out or it just doesn't post. So, I don't know. It is an intimate experience, though, the realization of God and coming to and having that awakening. Very, very intimate, very personal. So, yeah, expect it to happen in your own way, at your own time. And you do it through whatever you feel is right for you. I'll say my shit. Intuitive channeling, other channelers and tarot readers are going to say their shit, but it's really all about you. Thank you for watching so far. I'm going to get into the reading now. And with all of my channelings, I never intend on them to be so long. But today I get it because I took a lot of gaps. Anyway, I will timestamp this. And then, try to keep this as brief as possible. Very simple. 7 of Swords and the King of Swords. I'm feeling into the energy that I was talking about. The healing. We're healing. And more specifically, we are becoming more decisive about our healing. I'm also receiving, as I'd mentioned, as part of the patterns that I've been recognizing, that we have to be more decisive about our joy. But more specifically, or rather like, okay, this to me is giving somebody who's working through psychological pitfalls or just trying to understand more about the way that their behavior, the way that they behave, understanding more about the way you make decisions. And I feel called to say there's not much to understand. Try not to complicate this. Just, it's absolutely rude. It's wild. It's wild, okay? I get it. But please, just try to decide to be happy. Just try to decide it, Stop being poor. Oh my God. This is also a card of focus. Sorry, that was me. That was my moment, being silly. This is a card of focus. So maybe if you can continuously practice the senses thing, that senses thing that people do when they're going through a panic attack, where you name a thing you can hear, name a thing you can see, tap into that and try to make it consistent until you make it a habit, so that you're not using words. You're just looking at things, hearing things, seeing things, tasting things. You're in the moment with your senses. Focus. Takes a lot of focus. It's taking a lot of focus, I think. These cards are telling me it's taking a lot of, I'm possibly reading for somebody who's putting a lot of focus into understanding the way that they work internally. Let's see what the last card has to say. You also have One of Swords beneath the deck, which tried to stay behind as I pulled it. So actually, let's just leave it here since she's trying to say something. Mind thing. So yeah, I repeat again, please remember the act of affirmations and of rewiring your brain. Literally every time you have a negative thought or every time you even have a low vibrational feeling, fix your mind to do a thing or to say a thing, to repeat a thing over and over again, I know that in our little family, we try to still the mind. This is giving that the mind is active. It's not stillable right now. You're not going through a peaceful mind period. So we have to work with it like a machine. Meditation is not, it might fall out, maybe we'll see, but this is not giving meditation. This is giving an active reworking and reprogramming of your mind through active stuff, active like mind affirmations, maybe writing down a gratitude list and saying it out, or maybe, wow, this could be for you if you're a Virgo. And it's a bit extreme, but we're reworking your energy here. This is energy programming. So whatever it takes. I'm also giving that you're pretty keen on that. Whoever I'm rooting for is keen on doing whatever it takes to just get the shit down now. So set a gratitude alarm to ring as often as you'd like. And every time it rings, think of something to be grateful for. Just one thing. Keep it going, See how it changes your life. And it's gratitude that changes your life. It's the frequency. Okay. Okay, so you have the King of Discs, the Five of Cups, and the Five of Discs. Interesting. The Five of Cups and the Five of Discs with the King of Discs. And then you have the One of Cups in reverse with the Nine of Rods beneath the deck. I am getting, with whatever this thing is that's being worked through right now, the psychological thing that takes focus, I'm receiving it now specifically has to do with, okay. The love of this, it automatically becomes very romantic. And the presence of the King of Discs, I just have to just quickly tap into that frequency and say, a man in your life, a masculine in your life, a very masculine figure, a provider, a caretaker, wants to take care of you, is dealing, or actually, no, I'm getting, okay, unromanticize this. I'm getting the frequency of a general masculine or somebody who likes to provide, a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo, who is feeling really, really depressed because they don't have enough money. Yeah, because their access to resources is really low right now, and that's a December thing. Random channeling to say it's going to take focus. It's going to take focus, darling. It's just focus. It has nothing to do with your lack of hard work or whatever. You cannot work your way out of whatever this is that you're processing right now. Okay, yes, somebody who's used to being a provider, who's used to having a certain kind of financial status, or somebody who's used to having a certain kind of access. Somebody who's used to being in control. Feeling totally out of control right now due to some kind of financial strain that is kind of linking to some kind of like depressive phase, and is closing. It's an energy blockage. Like I said, with all this, we're working with energy. We're doing an energy work right now. This is energy work time. If you are experiencing low financial flow in this month, regardless of the fact that it usually happens in December, this is intentional. Wow, okay. We'll touch on that. This is an intentional time. This is on purpose. There's some shit to process. It's this is so crazy, but if you rock with it, you rock with it. If you don't, then you don't have to watch anymore. But sometimes, with certain people, especially like I said, with the earth sign types, part of your guys' lesson and part of how God speaks to you is through the earthly material stuff. So yeah, your financial strain, whatever you're going through right now, it's God trying to get you to feel through some stuff. The King of Discs is also a very stubborn person. This is somebody who really doesn't like to let go, doesn't like to be out of control. Really very stubborn with their sense of surrender. They can surrender, but they don't do it willingly. And even that in itself, they want to be in control of. You know what I mean? So with this type of energy, with your types, God puts you through stuff like this, through financial strain, puts you through downfalls, pitfalls. This is definitely giving the energy of a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn in their low moments. I feel called to read on the One of Cups. And then you'll never believe what is beneath the Nine of Rods, guys. You'll never believe it. So, yeah, I'm going to have to touch on it. I just can't believe how romantic all of my readings have been or how they always come to be. They always come to be romantic. It's just, rolls eyes. This speaks of stagnation, loss of love, inability to connect with feelings. Reversal of feelings, for example, when love turns to anger or hate. Repression or denial of emotions, which is also a very King of Discs thing, especially when he's like going through the shits. He actively tries to pretend that they're not there so that, okay, this is my interpretation of how earth signs handle emotions. You guys like to, when things get overwhelming is when you present to be especially underwhelmed, so to speak. Things are going so much everywhere inside, but outside you're calm as ever. You guys like to do that. And Scorpios as well. We also like to do that. Not healthy, not good for the energy body. I've really fucked with myself physically with the amount of suppression that I've done in my life in general. This is, wow, and I picked up, okay, too much. This is the medicine, the willingness to be vulnerable. Watch out for being defensive. With these emotions, it's very easy to become defensive. If you're going through this kind of thing, where you especially feel this internally, please be aware of being defensive. And anytime you find yourself in that state, please just consider the fact that you're just not going through a good time right now. But the power is entirely in your hands and in the way that you think. Change the way that you think. Analyze and look at the way that you think. This work is all in the way that you think, regardless of what you are experiencing. I don't want to invalidate your experience, but if you're watching this and you're sitting this far, then that's the message, period. It's in the way that you think. Just sit with that. Then beneath the Nine of Rods, guys, we have the Two of Cups. So with the appearance of that card, it's again this frequency of two people who are meant to be together, but they're not together right now because some shit is going down internally in either one or both of them. And the shit that's going down, beloved, is this. Is a sense of depression, a sense of material abandonment, where you just feel like you can't do anything because you feel like you can't mess up because no one is going to clear your mess but you. Yeah. Also a very stubborn King of Discs mentality, because the King of Discs doesn't want to ask for help. The King of Discs insists on being the person to give help always. Sorry. Then I see the Eight of Cups. Oh, and I'd seen the Tower. When I was picking up the deck, I saw the Tower. And now putting the deck down, I'm seeing the Eight of Cups. Yeah. There is somebody's there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I actually don't think that I'm trying to think of the practical advice here, because there's definitely a story, but the story with the presence of the Tower, the story is also giving that it's like What's up? Why? It's there's a dome of a story happening here with this with somebody who is struggling, who's trying to restructure their thoughts, somebody who is getting a new way of mind, a new mode of thinking, somebody who is feeling a lack of love either internally, or they're experiencing a lack of love in their living experience, like in their everyday. They're experiencing a sense of depression. They're experiencing a sense of financial constraint or feelings of abandonment. This dome, inside this dome in this ball, with the presence of the tower, that the dome is going to be popped or smashed through. And that smashing is timeless. It's weight. It's giving a sense of like, yeah. It's really. The job of the diviner is very annoying during periods like this because of how, because of the overarching message of how the story has to play out. It just has to, like, generally whatever you're going through right now, just know that it's extremely necessary. It just has to happen. Sorry if you don't understand it. Laughing to keep from crying because I get it. Sorry if you're going through some really, really crazy emotional shit or like financial like constraints and shit. Like just keep pushing and keep looking at the way that you think. I'm gagged. The universe is gagging me right now because these messages are so, this is such a human experience. This is happening on a very 3D human level, but the processes that this represents spiritually, energetically, is like, it's unwordable. It looks simple on it looks simple on the offset, but it's actually very, very complicated, very energetically complicated. So if this resonates, right, if you have someone in your life who you really care for, but their behavior confuses you, somebody who gives this kind of energy, like they are providing in a sense, or that you know that they want to provide. You know that they're capable of providing, but they're not providing to you. But your guys' connection is like, this is someone very important to you, and you know you're important to them. But the act of importance is not showing. Like there's no fire. There's no wands, there's no movement. Things are stagnant, slow, sad, depressing, but they don't have to be. If you resonate with that frequency, again, wait it out and focus entirely on the way that you think. The way that you think is so important. The way that you think. Swords dominates in this reading. Yeah, swords is the dominant energy to me in this reading. So it's really in your mind. It's in your head. It's in your head. Please be aware of the disclaimer that I put in all of the videos in the description. Yeah, please be aware of the job of the diviner. We are very vibe-based. We are sitting in the room with you with all the potential doors. But at the end of the day, it's you who needs to decide which door to open. Just putting that out there. Let's tap into other energies and see what else is available for these cards. I'm getting the possibility of somebody who is experiencing a blockage or a stagnation of love, but they have many options, or they have more than one at least. But no one is doing it for you, and you feel a bit despondent in like dating. Yeah, I'm feeling a despondency in like connection, in connecting with people. But it's weird because you are somebody who really values connection. So there's like an anti-self going on here. I feel called to touch on the 5 of discs. This card in this deck speaks of moving house, a change of life and circumstance, travel, new opportunities appear after a period of strife and adversity. The current route may be hard, but may prove beneficial in the long run. And now I'm receiving somebody taking a hard decision to break up with someone because they're just not feeling it anymore, you know? If you are somebody who's been contemplating a breakup, it's giving that it'd be much more healing for you to break up with this person. No telling whether or not you could get back together. Reconciliation is always possible, in my opinion. But right now, it's giving that a breakup is necessary. I'm receiving an invitation. Hi, Moya Wetu. I'm receiving the invitation to, like, okay, if you're feeling depressed right now or feeling low or you're just experiencing any kind of strife, this may sound invalidating, but try to take it on the chin and again, get curious about, ask yourself questions about this feeling, you know, don't be scared of it. What is the root of why you're feeling so low? This is shadow work essentially, and I'd only be able to do like a one-on-one consult with how you could be more inquisitive about your sadness and maybe lack of stagnation. I mean, a stagnation in your life, a lack of love flow. But get curious about it. Ask yourself questions. There are plenty of like shadow work resources available on the internet that you should look into. It's all giving the need to like psychologically just sit with yourself. There's an answer. You're not just sad or feeling a lack of love flow in your life or stagnancy for nothing. And it's not just happening to you so that you can just like, yeah, okay, I'm an advocate of feeling things through and obviously be honest with your feelings. But this is giving, as you feel through the feelings, be curious about it. Work through it. Try to understand it. Journal, writing it out so that you can get a clear picture of how your mind works. Yes. Okay. Try to journal daily. As often as you can, honestly, but set a thing for yourself, maybe for the next 7 days from when you're watching this, to journal every day. You could even make it at a specific time so that you can look at the end of that experience and take in your mind, take in who you are on a thinking level. You, I think, will be very surprised to find how much of the way you think has had a very deep effect. Well, you'll be surprised to find how much of how you think has affected your energy body. Yes. Very random, touching one. I'm getting like somebody dealing with this happening in the past or possibly happening right now of being like kicked out of home. Somebody whose parent is kicking them out under the guise of, this is going to be good for you. But this person is reacting to it with a sense of abandonment, you know, like, oh, why would my parent do this to me? You know, this happens to the best of us. It's shocking and annoying how often this happens. How often a parent does something to a child and they think, yes, this is good for the child, but the child is having a traumatic experience. You're traumatizing your kid. You think it's good for them. No, you're just traumatizing them. Wow, that's actually, okay. So I saw this tweet this morning that now I feel called to read on because I don't think I've ever heard anyone speak on this. And the fact that it appeared now in this reading on its own feels like it's important. I don't know who I might be reading for because I have always had the sense that I read for people who like aren't really living with their parents anymore or don't have this mindset. I don't know. But anyway, The tweet I saw this morning says there's such a big discrepancy between what adults think or hope will be formative and memorable for a child and what a child actually commits to memory or finds impactful. Like, all I remember from my childhood trip to Disneyland is a wall covered in gleaming black mosaic tile. Most of my childhood memories aren't memories so much as anonymous, fleeting slices of sensation, like the smell of a construction lot or the look of a certain complexion of sunlight. They're dislocated but feel distinctly old, like they inform the set design of my interiority. And that line, hopefully you followed what I just said. As social media users, and I'm guilty of this, we use so much words, man. We use so many words. We don't need to use so many words to explain something so energetic and so simple. But anyway, the point is that, like, what I'm receiving, you might learn about yourself over the coming days, is how nuanced you are as a person and how much you retained in your childhood, how much of what you retained in your childhood informs who you are today. Like, I've always loved staring at clouds, like always, but in a very like obsessive. People see me do it and they're like, why do you do that so often? What is that about? That's something I've always loved to do, and that's the one memory, or that's the one like link I have to any kind of remembrance of the experience of being a child. I don't remember too much about being a child, but I do remember the sensation of being a child and staring at the clouds. And that allows me to remember what it was like to be a child. That's a random one. None of this is giving childhood in particular, though, I must say. It's more just working with who you are right now and trying to understand more about that. So that this can go upright and you can receive a new love connection, a sense of love connection, not just with other person, but with yourself and your own life. Hi, Evelyn. I'm actually, I didn't intend on this being so long. I left long form readings a while ago, but there's just so much. There's so much. Okay, so this taps into the breakup energy that I was feeling earlier, of somebody feeling a sense of someone's going through, I'm receiving the sense of somebody going through a very low time. They're very depressed and they are considering the solve of that depression to be like just to choosing something different. Moving out, breaking up, choosing a different career path, something like that. And this is all, or rather, let me say that's the solution. If you are in a depressive or stagnant state and you're not feeling a flow of love, the possible solution may be to, like I said earlier, break up, change a career path, or just think about it. Just consider it, not do it, but consider how maybe what you've been doing so far just doesn't suit you anymore. You're changed. Yes, I'm also getting that. I'm getting, and it feeds into what I'd tapped into in intuitive channeling, where this year, and I've given this often, don't think that you're going to be the same. After 2025, don't think that you're going to be the same. You are 100% not the same person you were in the beginning of the year. You have to surrender to that and accept that. Acknowledge that. I'm getting the possibility that also maybe part of why you're feeling a sense of depression or a blockage in love flow or just an openness is because you're not accepting that you're a different person. The decisions that you made or you thought you needed 5 years ago, they no longer resonate with you now for a reason, because it's time to change. This is also the signal that I believe happens from going through suicidal ideations or deep depression. It's not because you actually need to die or because life actually sucks. It's because you need to change. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. The Tower. Huge changes afoot. And I think that, again, with the presence of the Tower, as I'm remembering it now, It's going to happen anyway, honey. It's going to happen anyway. For all of us. It's coming for all of us. I did a reading for myself a day ago and I received the death card twice. The death card fell out. I put it back. I was like, no. Shuffled again. It came out again. So, nothing, nothing more to do with these changes, but to feel them through. Be real with yourself. I did that on camera. You saw the card split. So trust as well that trust yourself, trust your life, trust the way that you have changed, trust the way you make decisions. More trust. So many swords as well. Lots of swords. Before I close off, I feel called to read on the 9 of rods and let that be the closing energy. The tower insisted to stay again, by the way. I love God, but God is so intimidating. God can be very intimidating. This speaks of strength, firm resolve, courage, moral certainties, a rock in shifting sands, firm defense of all you hold dear. Check your own perception here, however, to ensure you are seeing clearly. Ability to show vulnerability. That first one, strength, firm resolve, courage, moral certainties. Again, tapping into the energy that had opened up with the King of Swords and the 7 of Swords. You try to decide. Try to just do it. Try to just decide to be happy. Try to just decide to be okay. Just be okay. South Africans are so good at this. That's why we love Groove, because if there's one place where we can just decide to be okay and it's okay and there's no one that's going to come into the way of the decision we make of just being okay, it's at a party. It's at a party. The best place to just decide to be okay. But also, practice doing that in the moment, right? Practice just right now. Just decide. I'm okay. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Just decide. Everything's going to turn out okay. Just decide you're protected, right? Decide that you're extremely lucky and that God has your back all the time and that the most that is expected of you in this time is to enjoy yourself and just be yourself. Just decide it and then just do it. I've also been thinking about how often I give into analysis paralysis. I thought about that today, especially if you're somebody who is into that. While the deck suggested that you look into the way that your mind works, please be aware of analysis paralysis. Be aware of looping over and over again. There's only a certain point, especially with feelings of sadness. Yes, Evelyn, you are so welcome, and I totally understand that misery, the sense of misery, I think that overcomes all of us, especially during these energetic times, is on purpose. Because, we've got work to do with how we deal with our misery. We have to deal with it better. We have to overcome it better. Get the tools, get better at doing it, Hi, Fizz Intuition. That's cool. Someone from Rhodoport. That's really cool. Also about analysis paralysis, the loop. Yeah, there's only a certain point. There's only a certain point. Okay, now I feel like I may or may not. For those of you who do spiritual work, right, and part of the central activity of our work is the self-reflection and being curious and sitting with and inquiring and stuff. There's only so much that can do, just as well, by the way. You can only sit so much in that, and that's why it's encouraged to sit in the moment and be still and stuff, because that breaks that loop of sadness and whatever. With all the cards, the loop seems useful. Just please don't ever feel disempowered by it. Don't ever feel disempowered by your misery and your depression and your sadness and whatever low vibes you may be feeling. Don't ever feel like they're bigger than you. Don't ever feel like they're forever. And don't ever feel like it makes you less than a person or it makes you inferior to somebody who's joyful or whatever. If you're miserable, it's okay. Be sad, be depressed, be miserable. And don't look to people who are joyful or whatever and like put them above you. They're just in a different state. You're in your misery and depression, and that's okay. And just be in it and let it do its thing. Let it happen upon you. And then, yeah, everything is temporary. You'll move on. Trust yourself, trust your life, trust your body as well. Very important. I feel like I have to now stop it. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry for my lags and thoughts and channelings. I really should have written everything down. But I trust that I said everything that I needed to say. And I will see you in the next